Welcome back to the basement. I'm Steve Lewis. This week we look at more Beach Boys appearances on series television. Before we get started, I wanted to thank Jake and Matt for having me on their channel, Good Timin', a Beach Boys podcast a few days ago for an in-depth discussion of Wild Honey. They're both incredibly knowledgeable, great hosts, and it was a lot of fun. You can check it out here on YouTube at Good Timin', a Beach Boys podcast. I think you'll enjoy it. Getting back to the Beach Boys on TV, we left off with Brian's appearance as a high school teacher on the new Leave It to Beaver in May 1988, 2 months before the release of his first solo album. As I've mentioned before, it's one of only 3 instances I can think of in which a Beach Boy portrayed someone other than himself. Of course, there was Dennis as the mechanic in the feature film Two Lane Blacktop, released in 1971, and Brian's background appearance as an airport security guard on the November 27, 1976 edition of Saturday Night Live. I've omitted the Saturday Night Live appearance from these episodes because it's mainly a musical performance, and I'm planning to talk about it when we get to 1976. In all the rest of the shows we'll discuss here, the Beach Boys appear as themselves. 6 months after his turn as Mr. Hawthorne, the Beach Boys, including Brian, make their first appearance as themselves on the ABC sitcom Full House in Season 2, Episode 6, Beach Boys Bingo, which aired on November 18, 1988. Full House was the sitcom that asked the musical question, "Whatever happened to predictability?" It starred Bob Saget as Danny Tanner, the widowed father of 3 young girls, who enlists his friend Joey, played by Dave Coulier, and his brother-in-law, the girl's uncle Jesse, played by John Stamos, to move in with him to help raise the kids, making it a full house. In the early 70s, ABC had had success with a Friday night lineup of kid-friendly shows like The Brady Bunch and The Partridge Family. They returned to the formula in the late 80s with shows like Perfect Strangers, Mr. Belvedere, and Just the 10 of Us, with Full House becoming their anchor show, much like the Brady Bunch had been in the early 70s. The Beach Boys' single Kokomo had been released on July 8th and had gone all the way to number 1 on November 5th, less than 2 weeks before the show aired. On the night of the broadcast, Kokomo had dropped to number 2, behind Wild Wild West by the Escape Club. As the episode opens, the Beach Boys are going to appear on Danny's TV talk show, Wake Up San Francisco. Danny is dressed for the occasion and tells the family he's stoked, whatever that means. It's a recurring line that gets a big laugh from the laugh track every time. Danny invites Joey and Jesse down to the station to meet the group. They're all so excited that the 3 of them break into a chorus of Surfin' Safari. Excitement soon turns to disappointment when the Beach Boys' flight is delayed, forcing the cancellation of their appearance on the show. Danny attempts to compensate by performing Good Vibrations on the show himself. Of course, his performance is meant to be comically inept. Back at the Tanner house, there's still a chance to see the Beach Boys in concert because a local radio station is giving away 2 front-row tickets. Everybody tries to win the tickets, but it's daughter DJ who wins by correctly identifying the radio's mystery song as Help Me Rhonda. Not only has she won, but the Beach Boys will be picking her and her guest up in their limousine. Now the Tanner family faces the dilemma of having only 2 tickets. There's a lot of comic hijinks, cute underhandedness, funny manipulation, hilarious pettiness, and ultimately some mild hurt feelings with everybody vying for the extra ticket. Eventually, they decide that no one will go to the concert. While the comic bickering continues, the phone rings and Stephanie takes the call. Surprise, it's the Beach Boys calling from their limo in the Tanner's driveway. Everybody races downstairs and voila, there are the Beach Boys. The audio track erupts with wild cheers and applause. The group are invited into the Tanner home. They trade some awkward banter, with each of the guys getting a line, and Mike, who's probably best suited for this kind of thing, getting several. Mike suggests that they order a vegetarian pizza, which for some reason gets a laugh. It's not like nobody had ever heard of vegetarian pizza in the 80s. Really, it's the style of the show and a lot of other sitcoms at the time to have characters say their line with an arch inflection and crank up the laughs, hoping people will think they've just heard a joke, even though the writers haven't come up with one. Anyway, the pizza arrives during the commercial break, and everybody sits around the living room eating pizza while the Beach Boys play a stripped-down acoustic version of their new hit Kokomo with everybody singing along and Uncle Jesse joining in on guitar. Jesse and Joey have planned to ask the group to sing a jingle for a Beach Butter suntan oil commercial that they've written. Just as Jesse is about to give Mike their tape, Mike says how nice it is that nobody has tried to foist a song on them. And Jesse and Joey abandon their plan just in the nick of time. Now Carl asks the big question: who will accompany DJ to the concert? She regretfully explains that since they can't all go, they've decided no one will go. The Beach Boys tell her they respect her mature decision-making and leave. No, of course not. As soon as DJ hesitates, Al calls for a Beach Boys huddle, which is apparently something they do all the time. They get together in the middle of the room, sing a piece of Good Vibrations, and quickly and predictably solve all the problems by giving the entire Tanner family free tickets to the concert. As they get ready to all pile into what must be an extremely large limo that's been idling in the Tanner driveway during all of this, Baby Michelle says, "Kokomo," which gets chuckles and adorable sounds from the laugh track. Brian calls it a request, and the scene closes with the group doing an a cappella reprise of the song. Cut to the group playing Kokomo live at the concert. It's apparently really live because Brian's vocal is way off. Though the show is set in San Francisco, the concert is clearly at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. It was taped on November 8, 1988, after a USC Trojans football game. The Tanner family are clearly enjoying the show. I do kind of wonder where they stashed Baby Michelle on short notice. Anyway, after winding up Kokomo, Mike introduces the Tanner family in character, and they are invited to join the group on stage for Barbara Ann. The family sing and dance with the group, and there's even a guitar for Uncle Jesse to use. During the revelry, Joey slips the tape of the Beach Butter jingle into Mike's pocket, setting up a possible sequel that never happened. As Barbara Ann draws to a close, Bruce announces, apparently live, "How about the Tanner family? Let's hear it for the Tanner family, San Francisco," which may have been a little confusing for the Los Angeles crowd. I've got to say the live footage is expertly shot and edited. It makes a Beach Boys concert look deliriously fun and was undoubtedly great PR for the band. Keep in mind, too, that Kokomo had been #1 in the country less than 2 weeks before, so a lot of kids already knew the Beach Boys as a big, successful group and were now seeing them for the first time. What kid wouldn't want to have seen the Beach Boys after this episode? Having recently reviewed the Beach Boys' appearances on series television for these episodes, I would guess that this live footage with the full house cast was easily the most effective at making the Beach Boys look exciting and introducing them to a new generation of fans. The party atmosphere continues as Fun, Fun, Fun is shown under the ending credits. It's great that we get 5 Beach Boys in the episode, and they all make a contribution. Of course, having the Beach Boys turn up unexpected and unannounced at the Tanner house is bizarre, and a lot of the lines they're given are awkward to say the least. The episode is insipid and dumb, but it makes no pretense, and that's what saves it. It doesn't try to teach a lesson or send a message. It's just goofy, unrealistic fun with the emphasis on fun. And the concert footage is undeniably exciting. It's the quintessential Beach Boys TV series guest appearance and probably their best remembered. In his 2016 autobiography, Mike Love says, "Full House may have seemed trivial in the moment, but its impact on our legacy cannot be overstated. Not only was it popular at the time, but it's popular to this day, living through cable TV and DVDs. I'm amazed how often young people come up to me and say they first saw the Beach Boys when they bought the Full House box set, all 192 episodes." The episode is certainly part of Beach Boys lore, and it's made me appreciate that when I've seen Mike and Bruce bring Dave Coulier on stage or tour with John Stamos, for a certain segment of the audience, they're touching on cherished childhood memories and part of what makes the group special for them. Of course, it won't be the last time a Beach Boy appears on Full House. Before we move on, there's another possible Beach Boys appearance that I maybe should be including. They seem to have appeared on the September 23, 1988 episode of the ABC daytime soap opera One Life to Live. Mike mentions it in his autobiography, saying they played Kokomo as part of a storyline about a high school reunion. This would have been just before Kokomo entered the top 40. IMDb confirms that they were in the episode, but I've been unable to find any more detail, video footage, or still images. It makes me wonder if the episode was just the Kokomo video or possibly a live performance from their 1988 summer tour. If anybody knows, please pass it along. A year and a half later, Mike Love returned to Full House for a solo cameo appearance on the season 3 finale, episode 24, entitled Our Very First Telethon, broadcast on May 4th, 1990. At the time, the Beach Boys' Still Cruisin' album was about 9 months old, and Capitol were just about to start issuing the Beach Boys' original albums as twofers on CD with bonus tracks. 5 nights earlier, on April 29th, ABC had aired the Beach Boys' made-for-TV biopic, Summer Dreams, The Story of the Beach Boys. If you'd like to know more about it, check out episode 15, Endlessly Summer Dreamin'. In this episode, Danny is enlisted to host a telethon for We Love Our Children, a charity which aims to raise $1 million for new equipment for a children's health center. Danny's boss at the TV station, Mr. Strobridge, shows up to stress how important it is that things go smoothly and how much faith he has in Danny. It's a bit odd because we've never seen Danny do anything at the station that didn't go terribly wrong. It's like Mr. Mooney expressing complete faith in Lucy Carmichael or the skipper expressing complete faith in Gilligan. Most of the action centers around the telethon, and of course, the whole family is involved. As usual with sitcom telethon episodes, nearly every performer is a regular member of the cast who sometimes use it as an opportunity to show off an actual talent, or their character either does something ridiculous or something they're not very good at. The Tanner family try, among other things, comedy, impressions, magic, singing, and dancing. Of course, when the adults do something, it usually fails comically. When the kids do something, it's usually adorable. The LA Raiders cheerleaders perform, which conveniently means they're on hand for the finale. It's supposed to be a 24-hour telethon. Seemingly, they barely have enough acts to cover the half hour of Full House. Of course, things go comically wrong, and Danny, who's supposed to be there for the duration, struggles to stay awake and finally dozes off. Toward the end of the episode, Mr. Strobridge runs on stage saying there's a Beach Boy in the house whom he has momentarily misplaced. Mike Love enters and Jesse comes out to meet him, greeting him as he always does on the series by calling him Dr. Love. Mike says he heard them begging for help and thought the telethon was a good cause, so he's there to lend a hand. Danny suggests that it would really put them over the top if Mike would sing a song. Mike volunteers to do Be True to Your School with Jesse's band The Rippers if they can get those cheerleaders out here. Mike and Jesse talk it over, and Mike first suggests that Jesse move to the drums and give a little drum roll at the top. After Jesse comically showboats with an impromptu drum solo, Mike throws a towel at him. Jesse moves to guitar and to center stage for an episode-ending performance of Be True to Your School, which puts the telethon over the $1 million target. Balloons are dropped, the cast hugs, the crowd goes wild, the cheerleaders return, Be True to Your School plays on, and everybody has a merry celebration. And so ends the 3rd season of Full House. The Beach Boys don't appear in Season 4. Season 4's big event is Jesse and Becky's wedding in a special 2-part episode. They finally tie the knot in Season 4, Episode 19, The Wedding Part 2. It aired on February 15th, 1991. As part of the ceremony, Uncle Jesse performs Dennis Wilson's Forever. Of course, it's far from the last time John Stamos will cross paths with that song. It looks as if we'll need about 4 episodes to complete this series. With that in mind, I'd like to take a break next time and begin talking about the year 1965, leading into a discussion of the Beach Boys' Today album. We'll return for episodes 3 and 4 of the Beach Boys on Series TV in a few weeks. Meanwhile, I hope you enjoyed this. I look forward to your comments, perspective, and feedback as always. Please hit like if you don't mind and subscribe if you haven't. Have a great week. Thanks for watching. Bye.